Howdy y'all, Dean Stilley here from the official home of unofficial Grateful Dead and music news. Listen, this was a good one. We had some kind of time tonight. The stars just lined up all right. For me personally, just full of laughs and cool little happening. We're going to talk about it. We're going to cover it. We start out with my buddy Steve from Grateful Sweats. Made this awesome poster here, Hampton poster. The art that makes up the arena there is all the set lists from the shows they've played. They're really just a very cool poster. You can get that Steve Grateful Sweats on Facebook. You can find him on a lot. He's always there selling stuff. Great to see you and hug you, Steve. Thanks for the poster. It just started like that and it only got better. Great to meet so many of you out there. Love you all. A long time. Thanks for all the support. Motherfuckers! That's for my buddy I was chilling out there in the parking lot with. Listen, we get things started. We get Jack Straw. Jack Straw sounds like he'd been at a methadone clinic all day long. That thing was lumbering along, limping out of the gates, and I'm thinking, I don't know how I'm going to feel about all this. But I think that it starts picking up, has a segment or two that gets interesting. You get Deal coming up next, and these guys usually just kill Deal. And it seemed kind of early on like maybe this was, I don't know, this was like trying to get a hard-on with too much cocaine in your system. Just didn't seem like it was ever really getting there where you wanted it. Maybe moving along a little slower than you'd hope. Even the stuff like Deal had some great segments. But I was waiting for him to light it up. I'm not certain that was happening. This first set kind of felt like a woman in labor. And she's pushing and she's pushing, and we're hoping there's going to be a baby soon, but up to this point, no baby. We get Peggy-O next, and really my dominant thought during Peggy-O usually is, Weir's got so many good Weir tunes. That's all I'm going to say about that. We get the Brown-Eyed Women next, which a lot of times can be a roaster. And once again, it just seemed like they were missing some opportunities to really take off. Not a lot of ascent. So this pregnant lady's still pushing. And we're right there with her, trying to give her all the support. There's 20,000 doulas in the audience trying to coach this baby out. We get... looks like Rain next. Looks like Rain's always great. Wonderful on Weir. I thought he did a fine job with that. Easy Wind, that one seemed like it was a little bit discombobulated, but there was something that was really interesting happening regardless. There was something within the music throughout. There was very interesting things happening deep inside that core, and you could just tell there was some music, some magic on the music. There was that thing was there. If you listen closely, I'm sure you can hear it. Anyway, there you go. Easy Wind had a minute or two with some interesting stuff happening for that one close. Then you get Cumberland, and Cumberland, really, these guys, I'm thinking, here we go. This thing's going to take off. Cumberland, it just sounded very difficult. It sounded like it was difficult for him. For whatever reason. This is my perspective. Doesn't have to match yours. I give zero fucks if it does or not. I'm just giving you my perspective. It just sounded like it was difficult, but it had some great points in it. Even Jeff at certain times where he tends to really take off was at times a little more restrained than I'd hope. Casey Jones up next. So here we go. We're going to take off. This is going to fly. Casey Jones, that's a good one. I mean, it was heavy. We were having a good time. But once again, through the first set, if you ask me, this woman, she's been pushing. 20,000 doulas trying to coach her. It's intermission and there's no baby. We don't have the baby yet. So that's okay. It's first set. Nothing really rides solely on the first set. So we'll just have fun. I talked to O'Teal earlier in the day. He said, meet me go to club front. I have my assistant take you back to the dressing room. We'll talk a little bit during the intermission. So very funny. I was trying to go to club front and I went to the wrong place, but one of the security guards, she was looking at her little paper that shows her the different kinds of passes, and she just let me go down this flight of stairs. And when I got to the bottom, as I was backstage, I was right behind the stage. I thought, oh Shazam, I don't think I'm supposed to be here, but I'm not going to make it look that way. I'm going to make it look like this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. So anyway, I had a couple of security guards ask me what I was doing. And I said, working. And I guess I said it with enough certainty. They left me alone. I'm sure I didn't look like I was going to harm anybody. The one security guard, he was right there, and he was just sitting there with, you know, just looking stern. And Weir walks by with his bodyguard, and after Weir passes, the big mean-looking security guard, he looks at me and goes, "That was Bob fucking Weir." He went total fanboy. A guy went total fanboy. It was hilarious. It was such a great moment. I wish all you could have been there with me to experience it. So anyway, got to hug Oteil and spend a little time shooting the breeze with him. That was fun. We come out for the second set. And I go up there, I'm up front for that one on the rail, and we get Here Comes Sunshine. Here Comes Sunshine was great. Really some very interesting stuff happening throughout those jams. There were times, there were elements of Ryder in there. There was crazy things happening, and they were happening just right. You could just tell the magic ingredient was present in abundance from the time that they got into the middle of that Here Comes Sunshine. St. Stephen's up next. Boy, that's going to kick off a party in a big way. We were high-stepping it. Really, that started some severe grooving up front. We were having the time of our life. Sounded great. They were ripping it up. Don't get the William Tell. You don't get the William Tell, that little segment where you thought maybe they go into it. You didn't get the William Tell, you just got the 11, and Weir's just great on the 11. He owns it. He has, to be honest with you, I don't know the fucking words except the season of what now. Other than that, I don't know. He could mess them up all he wants. I wouldn't know, to be perfectly honest with you, but he sings a mouthful of them really good. That was outstanding. The 11, boy, we were just finding our groove in there in a big way. Oteil woke up not feeling good. He was considering not singing tonight. There's that little bit of a sore throat and stuff. The first line of Comes a Time, it kind of cracked. It's a little mucusy. Sounded like he might have had a hard time getting through that one. And I just started praying. I started just, I prayed that the Lord would just fill him with the Holy Ghost and heal him up, give him the strength to sing. I sat there on the rail just praying for Oteil through that, and I'll tell you what, those prayers were answered. He knocked it out of the park. After that first line that got a little bit of rust on that, the rest of the song was outstanding. John's solos throughout, heartfelt and beautiful. You get going down the road after that, probably didn't expect that. I figured maybe an estimated or something like that. You get going down the road feeling bad. Jeff gets the cornbread and beans. I like Jeff on the cornbread and beans. He was good on the cornbread and beans. Listen, we're having, this is too happy of a time. At this point, all of us are just high-fiving and hugging and loving and realizing that we're in the midst of something that's getting very good and staying very good. The baby's out. We got twins at this point. At this point, labor has paid off. We've got a baby now. Drums in space do what drums in space do. Mickey, crazy up there all night long. Really had that professor face on. He knew everything was just right. You could tell by the look on his face. I was watching him all night long. He was making me happier than a motherfucker. You get the other one, Oteil, he was space sitting on a stool there, but when it came time to signal off those opening notes of the other one, boy, he got off that stool in a hurry and thumped that shit out, man. That building shook and we were on our way. Boy, here go the spin cycle, going round and round with the other one. That was a good time. Those jams were getting furious and ferocious. Good stuff here. We're loving it. If I'm not mistaken, I'm just going from memory. I think we just got the first verse of the other one. I don't think they finished it. I don't think the bus came by. I could be wrong. I'm not going to go back and review it now, but I think we just got the first verse. It falls beautifully into Stella. We're beautiful on Stella. John on Stella. John's soul was on the outside of his body. You could see it, you could feel it, and you could hear it. Really, that's a strong case for John Mayer's ability to play the music of the Grateful Dead, where those solos throughout Stella, tasteful as could be, fully invested in the moment emotionally. We were all right there with him. He was taking us for a ride, and that was beautiful. Not Fade. How many times have you been there with all your buddies up there, loving and hugging and having a blast and not fade to close this thing out? That was outstanding throughout. This one, to me, just solid all the way through. U.S. Blues for your encore. That's a fine time. The music definitely had the magic ingredient on it for the second set. The second set, we might have ended up with triplets. First set, I'm telling you, it's that one wasn't easy to get through. That was a woman in labor. She was pushing. We had no baby. I don't know. By the time this show's over, it might be Octomom. The Grateful Dead could be Octomom. Might have just had 8 babies during that. That was a motherfucker. That show was a motherfucker. Guess what? Team Mickey, I love you long time. See you guys soon.